Good morning and welcome to LNG Marketplace Weekly News Flash. Here are the latest news we have collected for you from all over the media. The first piece of news comes from Bloomberg. INPEX, Japan's largest oil and gas company, has reached a new deal with Indonesia on revised Abadi exporting LNG plant. The agreement is an important move forward. INPEX had to redesign a project as an onshore facility after the Indonesian government rejected its proposal for a floating LNG plant in 2016. U.S. Cameron LNG loadings are delayed after the first cargo was exported. At least 2 commissioning cargoes, one for France Total and another for Spain's Repsol, were delayed. Sempra says that Cameron continues to work through the normal startup process, but market sources claim that the plant has a cooling system issues. Loading is now expected to resume in early July, as stated on Hellenic Shipping News. Spanish public utility Iberdrola announced the sale from some of its liquefied natural gas portfolio to Singapore-based LNG firm Pavilion Energy. The two companies also concluded an agreement for Pavilion to supply natural gas in Spain. This we read on LNG World Shipping and Callanish Energy. Also on LNG World Shipping, we have found that Hamburg-based company Containerships, part of CMA CGM Group, has taken delivery of the LNG-fueled Containership Polar, which will join its sister vessel Containerships Nord in a weekly service between Northern Europe, the Baltic states, and Russia. Containerships expect to take delivery of 2 more sister vessels by the end of the year, and by 2020 will have 20 LNG-fueled containerships in its fleet. The state-owned oil company Petrobangla has reportedly received interest from the first onshore LNG import terminal in Bangladesh. Among the companies that submitted their application, there are Mitsui, Petronet LNG, and Kogas. The winner will operate the terminal for 20 years. That's according to the Hydrocarbons Technology website. Qatargas delivered the largest single cargo of LNG to the Marmara LNG terminal in Turkey on board the Q-Flex vessel. This is the first ever vessel of this size to call at the recently expanded Marmara LNG terminal. The terminal was originally designed to accommodate conventional-size vessels, but went through the upgrade to accommodate both Q-Flex and Q-Max carriers, as we read on Hellenic Shipping News. Spot liquefied natural gas prices could double if the Strait of Hormuz was disrupted as Iran threatens that it might close it. While according to Platts Analytics, it is likely to happen, and if it were to occur, it could potentially wipe out 22% of global demand as Qatar does not have export routes that could be used as an alternative, so it would immediately place Qatar's LNG export under force majeure. This is informed by S&P Global Platts. Around $200 billion in projects across the globe are racing to be approved over the next 2 years in order to lock in contractors before the others snap them up. There is a limited number of contractors able to handle the huge projects on a fixed-price construction, like Bechtel or Chiyoda, so the LNG developers who fail to sign contracts timely are likely to struggle to make a profit. However, to win the project approvals, developers need a commitment from long-term buyers who, with spot prices stuck at a 3-year low, is presently holding out. More about this issue on Finance Yahoo. Floating LNG comes of age with 4 projects in operation as a solution for unlocking stranded offshore gas resources. 1. Shell's Prelude FLNG, one of the largest and most expensive offshore floating facilities ever built, is located offshore Australia. 2. Petronas's recently located floating PFLNG Satu. 3. Eni's Coral Sol FLNG, the world's first ultra-deep floating FLNG, will be commissioned by Mozambique waters. And last but not least, Argentina's Tango FLNG, the first floating LNG vessel in the Americas. If you want to read the whole story, you can find it on LNG World Shipping. A very interesting piece of information we have found on Seeking Alpha website. Russia's Arctic LNG-2 project will be 1/3 cheaper to build than the country's Yamal LNG plant because of technology being used by Italy's Saipem. And last but not least, the unconfirmed or widespread rumors that our North Sea route's tariffs are varying according to the ice thickness. That's it for this week. Tune in next week for more news, and until then, thanks for tuning in.